Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today we are talking about a very important topic in my opinion because it's something I see all the time on Instagram and it's something that I get questions about on a pretty regular basis. So it is intuitive eating versus macros. To dive into it first, let's talk about what each of them is. I know that intuitive eating can mean a bunch of different things. I'm not sitting here claiming to be the expert on it, especially since I don't follow it, but as a general rule of thumb, a lot of people refer to intuitive eating as more so like listening to your body. So if you're hungry, you eat. If you're full, you stop eating. Overall, you think of it, you're trying to eat a healthy and balanced diet, but you're not necessarily restricting yourself from things either. Like if you want a piece of chocolate, you'll have it. But overall, it's more so listening to your body and your hunger cues. So what are macros then? Everyone's macros are different. And each person has a total, if you think of it, caloric amount that they'll be eating each day, and those calories are divided into 3 different macro groups: proteins, carbs, and fats. So you are eating a certain number of calories from each of those 3 macronutrients, and within those calories it's broken down into grams. So for example, you might be eating, these are totally random numbers, but let's say 200 grams of carbs per day, 120 grams of protein, and 50 grams of fat. You're eating a certain number of calories each day, but those calories are broken down into each macronutrient to make sure you're getting enough proteins, enough fats, and enough carbs to reach whatever your fitness goals are at the time. Your macros can be calculated for either weight gain, weight loss, or maintenance. So, intuitive eating versus macros in a nutshell. All right, so next thing is I'll kind of dive into what diet I follow and why I follow it. For the first, I would say, year of my fitness journey, so to speak, I followed, I guess you could say, intuitive eating in the sense that I was overall eating a very healthy and balanced diet. I would have 1 to maybe 2 cheat meals out of the week. Occasionally, like at night, I might have like a piece of chocolate or something small for dessert, but overall I reserved eating, I guess, like those cheat meals or things that weren't considered healthy for a designated time during the week. So I followed this eating regimen for, I guess you could say, about a year and a half, and I was working out about 6 days a week. And I felt like despite how healthy I was eating, my progress had really plateaued. And I thought, I'm working out 6 days a week. I feel like my body, I should be seeing more results than this. I'd heard about macros beforehand, but I always thought that it was very restrictive. I was like, you have to eat within these parameters, I just feel like it's probably too restrictive. It's just not for me. And then the more I kind of did research on it, I saw people who were having amazing results by counting macros because, as I later on learned, macros work for everyone. There's scientific research behind why macros work. So I decided, you know what, I have stopped seeing progress. Why don't I just give this a try? What do I have to lose? So when I first had my macros calculated, I had them calculated for fat loss. I didn't want to lose weight necessarily, but I felt like my stomach area just could have been a little more toned, again, for the amount that I was working out. So within the first couple months of doing it, I started seeing really good results. Now, granted, whenever I started counting macros, my calorie intake was a little lower than what I was eating when I was eating intuitively, right? It's simple science. Your calories that you burn have to be more than the calories you intake in order to lose weight or fat. So I started seeing really good results, and then I stopped doing a cut. So I was at the point where I was happy with how I looked in regards to body fat, and then I switched to maintenance macros. So now you might think that with those new macros that, my body just went back to how it was when I was doing more so just clean and intuitive eating, but I actually retained my muscle mass and leanness so much better when I was counting macros and actually getting the right portions of proteins, carbs, and fats, and just overall calories, as opposed to when I was just eating clean. Now with macros, the thing is I was eating ice cream probably every night. I was having a lot more flexibility in my diet, and even though I was not eating nearly as clean, I had a lot more flexibility and enjoyment in the types of foods I was eating, which overall made me happier. But I was still seeing more results. So in a nutshell, that is why I switched to macros, and that's why I have stuck with it. It's let me have a lot of flexibility in what I'm eating. I don't feel deprived or restricted, but at the same time, I know that per my fitness goals, I'm eating what I need to do to reach them or maintain them, whatever my current goal may be. Now, when it comes to what is right for you, I think that a lot of people say, like, oh, you should just do intuitive eating and listen to your body. Like, I saw results that way, you can too. Well, one thing that I've noticed, a lot of people who see results with intuitive eating have counted macros in the past. This is me just kind of doing some speculating, but for me, if I had never counted macros, I would have no idea what foods actually consist of. Beginning, when I was doing intuitive eating, I was probably, eating about 150 more carbs a day than I should have in order to see results. But now that I've counted macros, let's say I decided to switch to intuitive eating, I have that knowledge in the back of my mind that even though I'm eating intuitively, I'm able to do that because I have some sort of knowledge about what I'm ingesting. Like, oh, this is really heavy in carbs. That means later on in the day I should focus more on proteins and fats, for example. And I think a lot of times when people say, I'm eating intuitively now, I'm seeing the same results as I did with macros, it's because they have that knowledge of what they're actually eating. Whereas before you count macros, you have no idea that a banana is 30 carbs. One banana is the same amount of carbs as half a bagel. And I think, for example, a lot of people, unless you've counted macros, you don't realize that. So what should you follow? What's best for you? I will say that if you want to see results and you want to see results quickly, I would definitely recommend counting macros because macros are proven to work. They work for everyone. However, if you are someone who is just content with, being active and living an overall healthy lifestyle, and you're not necessarily looking to see, really quick or more effective results, then I would suggest just doing intuitive eating. Macros definitely work for a more specific goal, but at the same time, they aren't for everyone. However, I do think everyone should count macros at some point in their life, even if it's just for 1 week. For me, when I was first eating intuitively, I had no idea that I was eating about like 600 more calories than I should have if I wanted to see more like muscle definition, like as far as my abs go. And so if I would have never counted macros, I would have never realized that, and I would have thought, I'm eating intuitively, I'm eating healthy, this is what everyone's telling me I should do, these girls are seeing results when they do that, why aren't I seeing it? Whereas now, if I decided to not count macros and switch to a more intuitive approach, having the knowledge I do about what's in foods and what foods consist of from counting macros, it would give me a more effective approach to intuitive eating. I hope that kind of explanation makes sense. I think at the end of the day, it's like anything, it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. If something works for you, then that's what you should stick to. So anyway, guys, I hope that this video was helpful for you. I'm really curious to know if you guys either count macros or do intuitive eating, or if you guys do a keto diet. I know there's so many different approaches out there, and again, so many different things work for everyone, but that is just my 2 cents on the topic. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and also do not forget to subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!